The Italian province of Emilia-Romagna has much to offer the student of history, architecture and civilization itself. Its capital is Bologna, and Bologna is conveniently placed for travel to, amongst many other places, Ravenna, Parma, Ferrara, and just into the province of Venice, Padua. You will probably arrive at Bologna railway station either by train or by bus from the airport. I stayed just outside the city proper at Casalecchio de Reno. Our first tour is from the north to the central piazza, Piazza Maggiore. We have entered Bologna through the Porta Galliera and first come across the Piazza Otto Augusto, which is not, as I first thought, named after a Roman emperor, but is the piazza of the 8th of August. A lot of the buildings in this area, including the churches, are quite new, following some land clearance by a certain air force during the last war. There's been a city on this site since Etruscan times. The Etruscans were overrun by the Gauls in 4th century BC, and then conquered by the Romans in 200 BC. We've come back to the main north-south street, the Via della Indipendenza, and we're going to cross shortly onto the Via Galliera. There are still some old palazzi, as you can see. The Via Galliera was the main north-south street before the new street was built. On the fall of the Western Empire, Bologna became subject to the Exarch of Ravenna, i.e. subject to the Eastern Empire. In 1116 it declared itself an independent commune, but gradually became a lordship under the Papali, the Visconti, and finally the Bentivoglio. In 1506 it was conquered by the Pope. Bologna University is the oldest in Europe. It dates from before 1066. These shields represent the armorial bearings of some of the tutors and students who attended the university. Copernicus learned his astronomy here. Galvani worked here, we shall see him later. And the university is remarkable for the number of female professors who have taught there right back to the 14th century. The first school to practice the dissection of the human body can still be seen on the first floor. Although, as we shall see, there it is, and it's quite remarkable because during the last war, which we just mentioned, the room ended as a pile of matchwood, and has been painstakingly restored to its present condition, using some of the old wood and obviously some new. San Petronio in Piazza Maggiore is the largest church in Bologna. It is thought to be one of the finest examples of Gothic brickwork in existence. The great doors carry reliefs illustrating Bible stories. The time in Bologna is set, or used to be set, by a ray of sunlight coming through that hole in the roof there and running along this scale on the floor. We may see later in another church an example of a 4-hour day clock. When the beam strikes a certain point, it is then midday or whatever. As you can see, the cathedral is filled with works of art, although not complete outside. We just go along the side of the cathedral with this electric bus to a little square at the back. We can see again the unfinished state of things. Now in this square is a statue of Galvani, who invented the electric cell and was at the university which is just behind us and we have seen. If we go back to the front of the cathedral in the square and look to our right, down this little street we come to another church, Santa Maria della Vita. We shall also return to this street later to look at some of the food shops.